Welcome to Making My Asset. My name is Eugene Johnson. I'm excited to get a chance to talk with you today. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about my biggest fear. Yes, that's right. The thing that scares me to death. The thing that frightens me. The thing that makes me want to run and hide and throw a cover over the top of my head and go into bed and sleep. So what is my biggest fear? You'll get a chance to hear it in this episode. I've been working so hard. So to explain my biggest fear, I want to start with a story. When I was on this flight, and you guys have been on some rough flights before, and it was a lot of turbulence on this flight. I mean, the plane was shaking like hard, and I'm not the type of person to be afraid. I know, my mom should probably kill me for saying this, but my mom, she is not a fan of flying, and I fly all of the time, so it's not a big deal for me. But this time, for some reason, I mean, when you can actually see the passengers jumping up and out of their seat, when you start to see the wings of the plane shifting, and you can see some of the flight attendants getting nervous, at that point, I was kind of getting nervous, like, what is happening on this flight? And as I was on this flight, I was getting scared, but then I asked myself, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid that I'm going to die? But the answer was no. I wasn't afraid that I was going to die. So what was the fear about? Why was I so afraid? And the main reason why I was afraid was simple. Here was the reason. I was afraid to die, not ever achieving the things that I felt like I was called to achieve. That was my fear. That was what I was afraid of. I was afraid of saying, not that the fact that I was going to die, I was afraid of going down on that plane, and as the plane is plummeting down and hits the ground, the thing that I was afraid of the most was, man, I never did what I felt like I was called to do. There was so much in me that I didn't get a chance to do. There was so much times that I procrastinated. Maybe I could have done one more thing. Maybe I could have moved one more mountain. Maybe I could have said yes one more time. Maybe I could have picked up the phone and called that loved one. There were so many things that I felt like I didn't do. And that was my fear. That today is still my biggest fear. I have so many dreams, so many goals, so many aspirations, and my biggest fear is to die knowing that those things were still inside of me. And one of the biggest frustrations of man is untapped potential. When you know you have something inside of you, but you haven't tapped into it yet. You've been complaining. You've been making excuses. You've been doing all of the things that most people do. You've been procrastinating and saying tomorrow, next week. Well, the thing is, we don't know if we'll have another day. We don't know if tomorrow will even come. So sometimes we have to snap inside of ourselves and say, you know what? Today is the day. You finally have to say to yourself, this is it. No more waiting. No more hoping. Because for me, I was afraid. I was afraid. Think about it today. If you were on your deathbed, do you want to say, I wish I had, or I'm glad I did? And so that's what I'm trying to portray to you today. Is for me, my biggest fear is being on that deathbed and saying that I wish I had. So how do you live with the fear? The first thing that you need to do is actually assign the proper meaning to it. Most people have a tendency to assign the wrong meaning to the things that they don't like. So if you have fear in your life, let's say you're afraid of public speaking. So what most people say is, because I'm afraid of public speaking, I will never go public speak because I'm definitely afraid. So if I'm afraid, that means I shouldn't do it. Well, that's the wrong meaning, or assigning the wrong meaning to it, or saying because I'm afraid to start a business, then that means I'll never be successful because I'm never going to go start that business. And what you got to have inside of you is you got to say to yourself that I will, regardless of the fear. A great book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Sometimes you just got to go after it. So assign a proper meaning to it. Tell yourself that, hey, even though I'm afraid, I'm going to have courage. I'm not going to make this mean that I can't go after my goals. I'm not going to make this mean that this is going to stop me or hesitate me. I'm going to actually push forward because I know that I can do it. I know I have what's in me to actually go out there and make it happen. So when you have fear, when you face that fear, you got to look at it like that. Here's the second thing. You got to let that fear drive you. You got to let it motivate you. I remember I was definitely afraid of people talking about me negatively. I never wanted people to talk about me negatively. And even today, it still bugs me here and there. But what I realized is I let it drive me. I let the negative talk drive me. I let the times when our principal said I'll be dead in jail, I let that drive me. I let the times where a friend of mine said you'll never have success if you work with with those people. I let it drive me. I let the people's doubts and the people's hate and the people's lack of belief in me, I let it drive me. So I take that and I don't let that fear hold me back. I let that fear push me and propel me to my greatness. And so you gotta let that fear drive you. Whatever that fear is, your fear might be different than my fear. Whatever the fear is, let it drive you. Let it motivate you. Put it in front of you and say, I'm afraid of ... but no more. This one thing used to have a hold on me, but not anymore. I'm gonna let this drive me and motivate me, because your fear is only an illusion to stop you from your purpose. And you can go out there and make your purpose happen, make your destiny happen. You can walk in your dreams and your desires and your goals if you decide to not let fear stop you, but let fear drive you. So I hope this motivated you. I hope you decided today to write that fear down on a piece of paper, then crumple that piece of paper and throw it in the trash can, because it does not have a hold on you if you decide that it won't. So I hope you guys have a great day. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, let no man steal your vision, because no man gave it to you. And if you've ever been in a situation where you had success and it's dropped back down, and you had success and it dropped back down, and you had success and you dropped back down, that is due to the mental and emotional roller coaster that you are riding on.